Welcome once again to your update from the city of New Hope. And as always, the mayor is with us, Kathi Hemken. Welcome, Mayor. How are you today?
Hi, Dave. It's great. Beautiful day today.
Yeah, another beautiful fall day behind us here. We're going to tell you about some events coming up in the month of October and also some things that are happening right now. Let's start with that Police Week. Tell us a little bit about this special week that's occurring right now.
Well, this is National Police Officers Week. And so obviously New Hope has police officers. So we're celebrating our police officers all week. If you happen to see one drive by, wave to them. And if you see them in person, please thank them for all they do. You know, and we all know that we support the police in everything they do and trust them to help us. So anyway, National Police Week.
All right, special week for them. Let's move ahead to October 30th, a special day in New Hope. And this is a grand tradition. Tell us about the craft fair.
Well, it's a Cooper Craft Fair. It's the 30th Saturday from 9 to 3. And how this came about is Cooper High School used to put on this craft fair with the supporters of the high school. And they'd give that money to the school for scholarships. Well, the women that were doing that were getting older and wanted to be done with it. So they searched around for a group that might be able to take this on. Well, they selected the New Hope Women of Today because they were a large group and they've been doing that kind of thing for quite some time. So the Women of Today took that on and they've been carrying it on. And they do the same thing that the auxiliary did with the school, and that is give a lot of the money to the school for scholarship programs for the kids. And then some of it, of course, goes to the Women of Today for their funds.
So that is on the 30th again from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Cooper High School. And again, you can go to the New Hope Women of Today website to find out more about that event. Let's talk about an event that just occurred and was a big success, that Cities Day. Tell us a little bit about the day and what was going on.
Well, we've had City Day for many years. But of course, with the pandemic and then the building of the new City Hall, we had to put everything on hold for a little while. So this has been the first year we've been back for a few years. The whole idea behind City Day is so people can come and find out what the different departments do and talk to people. The council is all there, staff is there, with a great success. They had a waffle breakfast at the fire station and they had fire demonstrations there. So the kids that came all got plastic fireman's hats. And they went from tent to tent and filled them up with candy and goodies giveaway.
Great.
So everyone had a really good time.
Glad to hear. Yeah, fun event for the city residents. Let's talk about water. And while the temperatures are getting a little cooler, unfortunately, not a whole lot of additional rain. So restrictions are still in place. Give us a little background for residents on that situation.
The Mississippi River, which comes out of the north, of course, is still in a drought warning condition. And so if they are up there, of course, that all filters down through Minneapolis. We get our water from Minneapolis. So when Minneapolis declares a water drought situation, we in New Hope have to abide by that. So if you remember, right, we put on water restrictions. They could only sprinkle their lawns on odd or even days.
Right.
Well, this week they should be coming out with a statement whether or not that stays in effect after the 15th of October. We don't know what it's going to be yet, but the reason is we need to get water reduction about 50% down, and we want people to continue to conserve that water. It becomes very important right now when there isn't any water up north.
All right, we'll give people an update next week after some of those announcements come out. Met Council, let's talk a little bit about Met Council for a second and a representative change that's happening.
Well, Linnea, I got to get the name right. Alea Atlas Engelbretson is the District 6 Met Council representative, and New Hope is in District 6. She's stepping down from her seat, and the governor will appoint somebody in the open process that they have. So we'll get a new representative, but it won't be her.
Next, let's hop over to community development. A number of things happening. We keep giving you updates on Windsor Ridge. What is the latest there of the progress in that new neighborhood?
24 houses have been sold for an average price of $421, and the rest of them, the other 8, I believe, are either the sale is either pending or they're in construction. So I would guess by the end of the year they should be fully built out and probably sold out by the first quarter.
Here's an update on a business that many of you probably drive by on the corner of Winnetka and Bass Lake Road, a gas station there that looks like it's been in repair or remodeling for quite some time. What is happening there?
Well, it has. The idea was to get rid of the mechanic space at that gas station. That's on Winnetka and Bass Lake Road. And they were going to expand the convenience store part of it, and it'd still be a gas station. Well, they had just recently come to the city to get their facade approved. That doesn't have to go through the planning commission because they're not replacing more than 25% of what shows on the right of way. So the city will just approve it. It won't go through the planning commission. But what's been stalling them, some of the renovation inside is completed, but of course they can't get materials and they can't get workers. And so they're not able to open until they get some of that done. And it's been that way since they bought it a year ago. So I'm sure they're anxious to get going with it, but they have to finish the inside first.
All right, we'll keep you up to date on that. A couple doors down, St. Therese, some big news there. Tell us about some of the things happening in that property.
This is going to be huge. It's going to be a 3-step process. What they're going to do is renovate all of it. And when you renovate a nursing home, of course, you have to have a place to put people while you're renovating it. So they're doing the residence first, I believe, and then they'll do the nursing home part, and then they'll do all the other spaces. So they're going to start probably the second quarter in 2022, and you'll see a lot of stuff going on over there. They're reducing the number of units they have. I believe there's 482 now, and they're going to be going down to 408. Okay. So they'll make the some of the residence spaces not only more modern, but a little bit bigger. So lots of stuff. We're so excited that St. Therese has decided to stay in New Hope and do the renovation on the property.
Very big project. Do you recall when that building was first built? I'm trying to think back of when it first came to the area.
I don't know. I want to say the 60s.
Okay.
But it's been there a long, long time. And of course, it's right there on the golf course. So they have a beautiful patio.
Yes, they do.
That 2 stories up, and they overlook the golf course. I have a little following there. They come out. They know that I play golf on Tuesday mornings, and if it's nice out, they'll come out on the patio and they wave to me, or laugh if I've missed too many shots.
There you go. It's good to have fans, right?
It is. It is.
Speaking of the golf course, we want to update people on what has happened recently with the golf tournament that was held there, and some great impact to a number of community organizations. Tell us about that.
Well, the Twin West Chamber of Commerce combined with the Minneapolis Chamber of Commerce, and now it's just the Minneapolis Chamber. And they hold a golf tournament in New Hope every year. And this year they raised over $5,700. Half of that goes to the chamber, and the other half they give to local community organizations like the YMCA, Seven Dreams, the Prism Food Shelf, the Crime Prevention Boards, both in Crystal and in New Hope. So it's a benefit for us, it's a benefit for them, and it's always a beautiful time to show off our course.
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks to all those who participated. North Metro Mayors Association, there is a update available on that group, and also a visit coming to town. What is going to be happening?
So the North Metro Mayors Association is a large group of mayors and city managers from like Blaine, Coon Rapids, all of the North Metro cities. Every year or every month, they go to a different city. Well, in October, they're coming to New Hope. So we'll give a little presentation about all the fun stuff that's been happening in New Hope. And then these mayors just sit around and solve the world's problems.
That sounds good. Sounds like a very important meeting. One other item under community development is the business networking group, and they've got a meeting coming up. Where will it be held, and what's the topic?
It'll be held at Northridge, the residence at Northridge. It's November 3rd at 2:00. We're not sure if it's going to be virtual or in person, depending on what's going on at the nursing home. So we're real flexible about that. Typically, when the business networking group gets together, each of the businesses that are there get 2-3 minutes to talk about their business, what's happening in their particular business. But whoever hosts the meeting generally has 10-15 minutes to talk about their business and what they're doing. And Northridge is a business, and so they're going to be hosting it this month.
Nice. And information about that group on the city's website, newhopemn.gov. Let's move ahead to some talk about the police department. And first is a nice recognition for the community relations officer. What has happened here?
A couple things. Brad Callio is our community relations officer. He actually was given the award of the employee of the quarter for the third quarter for his innovation on how to bring police and community together. Things like barbecues in cul-de-sacs, having coffee with a cop, anything he can think of where bringing community together with the police officers. And he's also doing defensive driving classes for the new officers and some of the other community service officers that we have. So Brad's been pretty busy.
Another item from the police department is a Tri-City Chiefs Forum. Tell us about this event, what was discussed, and who represented the city of New Hope.
Well, the Tri-Cities, Robbinsdale, Crystal, and New Hope, do a lot of policing stuff together. So they had the three of them in a room in Crystal, and the turnout was really good. And the whole idea was to ask those police officers anything you wanted to know, what they're doing, how they're doing it. I think it's really important to see the police chiefs together and how they're working together. We all have the same problems in all of our cities and the same good stuff happening in our cities. Right. We want to make sure everybody knows about it. So that was a pretty big deal to have the three of them there.
One final note from the police department is the Meals on Wheels delivery continues. That is going well, I guess.
It is going well. We get such good positive feedback from those people who get the meals. They're so excited to see the police officers come. And again, that's something that Brad Callio started. And just a way of making people comfortable with the police department.
Yeah, what a great program. Let's move to Public Works. A few updates for residents here. The first is the 2021 utility bill certification. We've been following this along. What are some of the final numbers residents need to know about?
Well, what this is if you don't pay your water bill, and that's mostly what they are, is water bills. There's some citations that didn't get paid, but it's mostly water bills. So at the end of June, it started out to be $364,000. It's now down to $273,000, but that's a lot of money. And as you know, the city of New Hope buys their water from Minneapolis, puts it in our big water towers, and then it goes out to residents and they pay for what they use. If you don't pay your water bill, that means somebody else is going to have to pay for it, and that means the city pays for it out of your tax money. And so it's really important that you pay that bill. So they've been sending letters to these folks for a couple months, so they know this is coming. If they don't pay that bill, then that gets certified onto their house taxes. And so it'll show up on their taxes, and they will have to pay it in some manner. And besides that, they have to pay fees. Once it gets certified onto your taxes, there's some fees added to that. So pay your water bill, please.
Let's talk about Public Works for just another minute here. They're doing some things around town. Tell us about tree trimming, park signs, and all the wonderful things they're doing.
Well, they're kind of the unsung heroes, I think. So they're out trimming trees all over the place. You might see them on Bass Lake Road. They're repainting the manhole covers, getting ready for the project. That's not a city project. That's a Hennepin County project, because Bass Lake Road is a Hennepin County street. So that when they renovate that, they'll do that. But we wanted our manhole covers to look pretty, if you could. The other thing they're doing is, because they're doing an expansion onto the Public Works building, they're putting a building outside of the main building so they can keep the sand warm outside, so they can park the trucks inside. We keep the sand warm because if we have a water main break in the winter and it's 20 below, it's really nice to have sand that you don't have to chop to put back in there.
Sure.
So that's going on. But the other thing that's happening with that project at Public Works is the employees are doing a lot of the work that they can to reduce the cost of that improvement. They're doing cutting down trees that need to come down. They're putting in insulation where it needs to be. So instead of hiring those things out that we can do as a Public Works department, we're doing. We actually, they put in new windows, but our Public Works guys remove the old windows. So things like that, each time they do that, it's $2,000-$3,000 that comes off the main bill. It's really, really helpful, because we promised when we built City Hall and the pool that we would not bond for a long time, and we're not bonding for this. This is money that we've saved for, and we're trying to cut the costs any way we can.
All right, the busy staff over there. Another department that's very busy is Park and Rec. Let's talk about a couple of the things they have going on. They're planning for some Halloween fun with the Trick or Trot event and the movie Transylvania. How is that coming together?
Well, actually, that was last Saturday.
Okay.
And it was there were 130 little munchkins dressed up in their costumes. There was music being played, and what they do is they walk around the trail at Civic Center Park, and they pick up candy all along the trail that different groups have donated. And so they fill up their little bags with candy and they're dancing around to music, and then they go and sit and watch Transylvania, the movie.
Sure.
So it was just a fun event. Of course, they light the trails up, and then they're in the dark when they're watching the movie, and they're out at night in their costumes.
That's
so
right.
Everybody had fun, and it was really well attended.
Great to hear. All right. Another part of Park and Rec right now is the staff hiring process as we change season. How is that coming along?
So we hired 3 people, and we're training them now to be gym attendants. That's for the Cooper gym. As you know, the city owns that gym. It's attached to Cooper High School. Cooper uses it during the day. We use it on weekends and at night. It's just a nice collaboration from the two. We also staff that, and that's where the 3 gym attendants are coming from. Pretty much all of our seasonal people are gone already, but we are looking for some hires for the ice arena, that we need some for that. And I forgot the other one.
Warming houses, park
the warming
attendants.
houses. Thank you. I didn't want to think about winter.
Fair enough. Well,
so we're still recruiting for those 2.
Got it. Well, this next topic will not let us think about winter. The golf course is still at it there. Tell us about some of the play that's there and some of the leagues that are still going on.
Well, because there's still fall leagues going on, if you want to play and the golf course is open, do call and get a tee time ahead of time just to make sure that there's a space for you. But there is some times to do that, and there's some time on the weekends to play. I'm just here to tell you, if you happen to hit the ball off of the fairway,
right?
And this is experience speaking. Don't use an orange ball; it gets lost in the leaves.
Yes.
They do a really good job of clearing off the fairways and the greens, so you can see that ball. But I tell you, if you go off into the woods with the leaves, you can't find it.
Just take that penalty stroke and move along, right?
Just move along. And the good news is the geese are starting to club together, if you will, and they should be flying south soon. It won't be soon enough, as far as I'm concerned.
I can imagine the people at the golf course will not miss them. Let's move over to the ice arena for a quick update, and it sounds like that is the place for tryouts right now.
Cooper Armstrong Youth Hockey, they're having their tryouts now, and they do that so they can place the kids in the right spots. They don't want to put a brand new kid to hockey into an established team where he's not or she's not going to be able to shine. So they do these tryouts, and they kind of form the teams based on the ability of the kids. So that's going on. They do have open skating on the weekend, but again, make sure you go online and check and see that there's not a tournament going on and you won't be able to skate. But other than that, Friday nights and Friday and Sundays, they have open skating, and you can rent skates. You can even get your skates sharpened if you need that.
Very nice. So, and how about the Skylight project? How's that coming along?
Done.
It's done.
It
Yay!
looks gorgeous. If you remember, we had those curved skylights. And the problem with those, they looked really cool, except when it snowed, and the snow would accumulate, and then it would warm up from the glass, and it would fall off that dome and fall on people's heads. So now these new skylights are kind of sloped, and the snow will just continue to fall off. It won't accumulate. It was a safety issue, and they needed to be done. But now that's done, and it looks just beautiful.
Ready for the season. One final note to pass along, a deadline coming up this Friday. If you're watching us early here on this update from the mayor of New Hope, we've got the photo contest coming down to its final days. Again, encourage residents to get out there and take photos.
Oh, I sure do hope they take lots of photos. They can submit one per applicant. There's a special category for the under 18. Staff is now looking at all of those photos, trying to sort them out. They'll have professionals come in and look at the photos and pick some. I don't know if they're going to have a People's Choice Award or not, depending if they're able to get those photos up and have people look at them. If they do get them up, they'll probably be at City Hall. They might move them to the ice arena or the golf course, but chances are it's usually not this late in the season. So they might not have a People's Choice Award this year.
Fair enough. But again, get out and take those photos. You've got the rest of the week, and you want to find out more about that, go to the city's website, newhopemn.gov, or many of the other items that we've talked about earlier, that craft fair coming up, and many other items. Mayor, thanks once again for your time today for the update. Look forward to talking to you again next week.
Thanks, Dave. See you then.
Learn more about The Connection at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.